comparison to
LA County officials holding a news conference about preparations ahead of the storm. Let's listen in. Catherine Barker speaking right now.
And directing urgency to our federal partners, the EPA and the Army Corps of Engineers. This work is a big step forward to rebuild our communities. As the Department of Public Works accelerates their review of right-of-entry forms, the Army Corps will continue to scale up the debris removal. I want to reiterate to all displaced residents, please fill out your forms for a right of entry online or at our Disaster Recovery Center as soon as you can. Please work with your neighbors to ensure that everyone is aware of the right of entry process in order to expedite debris removal. There will soon be a map available at recovery.lacounty.gov that shows where forms have been submitted already and where they are still needed. Clearing debris is just one of the crucial steps to recovery. Our county also stands ready to help wildfire survivors plan the rebuild. Our one-stop building shop in Altadena is now open at the Disaster Recovery Center for those with rebuild plans to begin submitting them for approval. As I've committed before, and I'll say it again, our county will expedite every process and will be there for the community every single step of the way. Before I wrap up, I want to emphasize the importance of being prepared for the storms this week. If you are advised to evacuate, please don't leave it to chance, as flash flood watch is in effect from Thursday afternoon through Friday morning. We will hear from our director, Mark Pastrella, about the work the Department of Public Works is doing to protect our communities and the proactive strategies that have been implemented to keep all of our residents safe. Please heed the warnings to evacuate. Do not risk your life. We have learned important lessons from previous fires, including the station fire in the San Gabriel Valley Mountain foothills, where we saw the devastation the mud had on homes in the La Cañada area. The foothill communities will be at an increased risk this week from atmospheric rivers, so please don't let your guard down. And I cannot emphasize that enough. The last rains that we saw were mild, but as Director Pastrella will tell you, our debris basin did fill up. You can go to ready.lacounty.gov for more real-time information, and I want to thank the residents for taking this seriously. Now I'd like to introduce Supervisor Lindsay Horvath.
Good morning. We're now experiencing our third storm with the most intense projected rains this week, and so we are asking everyone to stay on alert. National Weather Service has issued a flash flood watch through Thursday afternoon into the evening. Public Works has prepared our flood control channels and basins throughout the Los Angeles County region. There are concerns about our canyon roads in particular, as well as our PCH and vulnerable hillsides. There has been unprecedented support from Cal OES, our partners in the state, to address what we are concerned about with these rains and to make sure that we are deploying all necessary interventions to try and protect us from the impacts. This week shows the best of Los Angeles, simultaneously managing storm preparedness and launching phase 2 of our debris removal process. We know in particular that the PCH closure is hard. Residents may need to shelter in place. This is needed to ensure people's safety and protect life through this closure. We know that the communities of Malibu, Big Rock in particular, Sunset Mesa, and Topanga are all impacted by this potential closure. We want to open it up, but we only want to do so when it's safe. So while this wet weather exists, we need to keep it closed. We know that this is an incredible challenge, especially for our young people who just want to get to school, but we will work to keep you safe and open the PCH when we can. We know that this can also contribute to emergency fatigue. Staying on high alert for this extended period of time is challenging. Stay with us, stay informed. We're here to protect you and work with you to keep you, your family, and your community safe. If you have storm-related issues, 24 hours a day, you can call our Public Works Dispatch Center at 800-675-HELP. We also launched in the Palisades yesterday phase 2 of our debris removal process, and we were greeted by community members who are grateful for this whole of government approach that we have going, and I thank all of our partners at every level for helping us get to this stage so quickly in terms of our recovery process. Nearly 99% of all of the right of entry forms submitted have opted in for the Army Corps option. That allows us to move more quickly, in a more coordinated fashion, and so I thank everyone not only for turning in their ROEs, but for opting in so that way we can move quickly through your communities. The limited opt-out that have come in for those who have chosen to work with private contractors, the county stands ready to support you as well and to issue permits for private contractors beginning Thursday. We need to finalize MOUs with the respective cities that we will be serving in order to provide that permit. It is the county's goal that this is a one permit process, so we are working with your respective cities to be able to do so. Either way, we'll be ready to go with the unincorporated areas and continue to proceed to make sure that people get the support that they need if they are choosing to work with private contractors on phase 2. And again, if you haven't filled out your right of entry form, please do so. It allows us to move in a coordinated fashion and plan for where the Army Corps can be deployed next. We're doing this without compromising safety. I know people have been focused on speed, and it is essential because this loose, especially phase 1 hazardous debris material, just having it out and uncontrolled is not safe for anyone. We want to get this debris out of our communities quickly, but we also want to do so with your health and safety in mind. With that, there was a public health advisory issued for residents who are returning to homes. Residents may be exposed to hazardous ash, soot, and debris before phase 1 and phase 2 removals. So there are potential and immediate long-term health risks. Please be careful when you are going back to these areas. Make sure you are wearing appropriate PPE, or if you can, avoid these areas while this debris removal process is happening. Fire debris can contain asbestos, lead, hazardous chemicals, and fine particulate matter. Please exercise caution. Yesterday, our board took additional action to affirm our decision, increasing the penalties for price gouging up to $50,000 and enhancing our enforcement. We don't want anyone being preyed upon during this very difficult time. This is effective countywide. We know that no one should have to worry about people taking advantage of them in this very difficult time. And we will continue to be your partners every step of the recovery process to protect you, your families, and your community. We want to make sure that you are supported and cared for. You can continue to stay informed at recovery.lacounty.gov, and we will keep you updated through this week's rain. Next, I'd like to welcome our Sheriff of Los Angeles County, Robert Luna.
Good morning. My comments are going to be focused on the next several days and our preparation as a partner with other county departments and other city departments. So we've been collaborating and planning with our county partners for this upcoming storm. We have additional personnel ready to assist in the affected burn areas and at our Emergency Operations Center. Our search and rescue teams, volunteers on patrol, and incident management teams have all placed on standby, along with our Air Rescue 5 helicopter crew. Deputies are prepared to assist our community members with humanitarian needs such as food, water, and essentials. They are helping residents prepare with sandbags and passing out mud and debris safety tips. Our homeless outreach teams that are known as HOST are actively notifying individuals living in flood-prone areas like the LA River, Coyote Creek, and other key waterways, urging them to relocate. Unfortunately, we've witnessed numerous instances in the past of swift water rescues where people were caught in dangerous, fast-moving water, and obviously we want to prevent that. When the Department of Public Works notifies us about forecasted storms and potential mud flow activity in the burn map areas, this predictive information helps us prepare for possible challenges in the impact zones. Given the information that Public Works has provided us, we expect we'll be conducting evacuations in certain high-risk areas that have been identified. And just for some clarification, the last couple of days, specifically in our Altadena area and our Malibu Lost Hills areas, we have already been notifying what we believe through Public Works information are the impact residences that could experience the specific mud flows or debris flows, and the Public Works Director will come up and be more specific about that. And then the streets where the flows may be impacting not only residents, but the ability for first responders to come in and rescue people, which I hope doesn't have to happen, but we always prepare for the worst. So those notifications have been in place now for about the last 24 hours. There will be evacuation warnings that will be going out sometime later this morning to those same impacted areas, to be followed by evacuation orders as the forecast, we get more specific confidence in the forecasted rain that's coming. And again, for more information on that, my partner at Public Works will specifically talk about that. But as you can hear from what I'm talking about, there's been a lot of coordination, all with community safety as a priority. Yes, we do talk about the inconvenience, but right now we don't want anybody being hurt. That becomes very, very important. Please, if evacuation orders are made, you already heard supervisors talk about it, keep your safety in mind. They help to protect you and your loved ones from potential danger. Storms can bring sudden and severe conditions that make staying back home extremely risky. Do not take that chance. To ensure your safety, please take necessary steps now to prepare. Pack an emergency kit, secure important documents, and ensure that you have a place in plan for your pets and family members. And remember, if you're ordered to leave, you may be gone for several days. I cannot stand up here and tell you you'll be gone for 12 hours, 24 hours. We don't know. It depends on the weather and the post-weather events that will impact your specific neighborhood. Please follow your local news for updates and stay informed on evacuation routes. Your cooperation can help first responders focus on critical efforts, and together we can minimize the impact that this dangerous storm coming in has. I can't stress enough, please pay attention to evacuation orders. Do not wait. When you're given an evacuation order, heed the order and leave as soon as you can. Nothing that you have back home is worth your life. If you decide to stay in your property in an evacuated area, debris from the burn scar areas and storm may impede roads, and we may not be able to reach you. That is not a good scenario or situation for anybody involved. We will have increased security in all of our impacted areas. Additional deputies will continue to do their patrol checks in both of our county areas. With that, I would like to introduce the Director of Public Works, Mark Pastrella.
Good morning, Mark Pastrella, Director of Public Works, Chief Engineer of the Los Angeles County Flood Control District. Going to give a storm update and also some information regarding debris, our forecasted mud and debris flow for the next several days, Wednesday through Friday. Our storm forecast shows, as stated earlier, that we will see light rain beginning today and will continue through the night We expect more intense rain to begin occurring tomorrow mid-morning, and get the most intense portion of this rain right now forecast is in the later part of the afternoon into the evening of Thursday and through Thursday morning into Friday. As was stated earlier by Sheriff and our Board of Supervisors, this rain event, it does present a higher risk to our residents, particularly those that are living within the burn scar areas, not only Palisades and Eaton Fire area, but any burn scar area within the last year. So we have a number of those happening, almost too many to list, unfortunately, throughout the area. But we have those listed, and we are analyzing every one of the burn scars that in recent times that could be impacted what I'm about to report to you. So because of the intensity of this storm, and what you do here quite often is the rainfall intensity, meaning the intensity meaning the amount of rain over a certain period of time. So when we get to something like a half an inch per hour in any rain event at any given time, it's an indicator to us that there may be mud and debris flow. There are many other factors that go into this analysis. It also includes the topography, soils, geology of an area, the readiness of the flood control system to capture debris, and whether or not there are debris capturing devices at any individual property that could protect the property. It requires a lot of engineering, civil engineering expertise, including hydrology, geology, and soils engineering, what puts together the final recommendation or final analysis, risk analysis that I present to not only LA County Sheriff, but also to the impacted cities. So the LA County Flood Control District also serves the entire area of Los Angeles County, so we are also in full coordination with city officials, PDs, police departments in the other cities, and of course with the sheriff as they serve the city of Malibu and other cities in the county. So this process has been going on for some time, for hundreds of years, 100 years or more. We, at each incident that comes of rain, we make an analysis. I ask for a readiness analysis. The first readiness report is whether or not the flood control system itself is prepared. That meaning, are our reservoirs, debris basins, all 154 of them, are they clean? Do they have capacity to receive the mud and debris we expect to come off of the slopes above our homes and into these basins and into our dams? And so we are in a state of readiness with those facilities. We have the capacity for the size of storm that we expect to come into the storm with this storm. We did that by working 24/7 for the last couple of weeks, moving debris, trucking debris out of these areas and depositing in locations that we actually own and operate ourselves, or we have permission to move that material. This is not fire debris from the homes. This is debris from slopes. It has vegetation in it. It has logs, rocks, debris, sediment filled into it. That material tends to clog our system, and so what we do is we capture that in these debris basins, and then we move it off, as I said, 24/7 until we have the capacity we can get. One of the challenges is when we get back-to-back storms and we've lost capacity. Supervisor Barger mentioned that there is a specific Eaton Wash Dam that has reached a level that we are not comfortable at in this storm or prior to this storm. We've taken action to remove 150,000 cubic yards from that basin so that it can capture this storm. But I want residents in this area to know, and it's particularly the Sierra Madre area, in the Eaton Fire area, that we will be trucking, heavy truck equipment will be coming down your streets. You should expect that in the following week post this storm, where we begin to remove this 150,000 cubic yards from an area that we're stockpiling and now a safe place we're stockpiling right now. We have some 500,000 cubic yards we want to get out of this debris, the dam, over the next several weeks. But I've given an immediate order to run 24/7 trucking for 2 weeks, starting next Monday. So I wanted to give that heads up. Now, back to this storm event. That doesn't mean we're not ready. That dam is ready to take this storm, and we're very comfortable we're not going to lose what we call flood control of the dam. There's no issue there, no hazard to people, but I wanted to mention that it's something we're doing around the clock to prepare. So the flood control system is prepared. The next thing that we are looking at is the new debris, fire debris and ash that is contained on properties. We have set up a system in coordination with Cal OES, as was mentioned, and our partners from the federal government to capture sediment within the streets of the Eaton fire area and the Palisades area. This is unusual. We don't typically want any debris to end up in the streets. We do use the streets to drain the area, clear flow. We typically our design is not to have debris in streets during a storm event. However, there is so much debris could contribute to our street area that we set up a system temporary of sandbags, K-rails, thousands of linear miles of K-rail, hundreds of thousands of sandbags, diverting, attempting to capture debris on the properties so they don't reach the streets. And then when we know it will reach the street, we're diverting those flows, first separating sediment from them so that what will occur is you will see sediment in the street, captured sitting in the street, keeping it from getting into our waterways and into the ocean in the Palisades area. This is the other component of our mission, is to protect the environment. And that portion is just as critical as the other two, which is protecting people and property and the environment. Of course, we prioritize people. So we have advised the Sheriff's Department, as well as other PDs and cities, that we do in this incident have vulnerable structures that we do expect, if our forecasts come to fruition, that has been developed in coordination with the National Weather Service and my own experts in our house, that there are specific vulnerable structures that are at high safety risk, meaning that they could see debris run into the back of their homes. And so, as was mentioned by the sheriff, the LA County Flood Control District has been out since the beginning of this incident. Just post-fires, as soon as the fires were out, we began investigating and finding these vulnerable locations. We've contacted every vulnerable location on a list and created a list of these vulnerable locations. We contacted every resident in person or came to their house and weren't there, left a hanger for them with instructions for the instance that there is this kind of rain. Now, I say that with a high level of confidence, but I still want to mention that if anyone feels they're in a vulnerable location, and let me explain what that is. That's where your home is located below a slope, a steep slope, and it's been burned. And there is no drainage device or anything there to capture that. It basically, when it rains normally, it comes down and goes around your house. If you are living in a location where there is a slope behind your house and it is burned, we want to hear from you. We believe we found you already, but we want to still hear from you. So I want those residents to call 1-800-675-4357 so that we might come and see what the concern is and advise you for this event. This service is going to be provided right up to and to the point that we can no longer get to your properties. And that is going to happen, that probably is going to end right about today, where we're going to say we've done everything we can, we've got the number open, and then I'm not going to send engineers into harm's way post 5 p.m. today. So I want to hear from you today as early as possible if you have concerns about your location. Again, this is reserved to places where we have had a recent burn, not just Eaton, not just Palisades, but any burn areas in the LA County area, all of LA County. We want to hear from you. We believe we've already come and seen you. We've worked great coordination with sheriff and PDs to actually notify you already. And I have to mention, this has been a great effort in coordination with community. I really appreciate the community because we have gotten a lot of phone calls from people. And we have put a lot of mitigation in place to protect you. But there is a time in these storms when the risk gets great enough that it isn't advisable to remain in the home. And so we are providing, and I've already provided across the county, the cities and the county unincorporated areas, a list of vulnerable locations that we are advising PD there may need to be an evacuation. The evacuation decision is the sheriff's decision. But again, he's been advised by me about what the situation is. And you heard his plan for that earlier. So again, if you have our mud and debris flow hotline and a call during any storm event, because the department is a full service department. Not only do we deal with flood control, we deal with sewer, water, storm drain, and streets. You can call 1-800-675-HELP. To get ready for a storm, we would like you to always go to ready.lacounty.gov, which is a wonderful location for you with lots of advice about what you can do to prepare for storms. Okay. I will take questions about this after. I'm sure the media will have questions about our analysis and what's happening. I do want to mention that I'm really proud of the citizens within the Palisades and Eden area for achieving the fastest rate to debris removal we have had ever, and we've conducted 4 or 5 of these ourselves. LA County Public Works has been the coordinator of all 5 of these, including the Woolsey fire situation. Our department has stood up a specific unit that is versed in this process and runs super smooth. And I'm very proud of the folks that are there handling this. They're the ones that developed the ROE program. And this ROP program, I remind citizens, is the process for the ROP program is to enroll at recovery.lacounty.gov. Debris removal. There are 2 programs there. There's an opt-in program, which, as I was just mentioning, we've done really well on. We've received 8,336 ROE submittals with a 98% opt-in rate. So 98% of those have opted into having the Army Corps of Engineers, in coordination with the County of Los Angeles, remove the debris from their property. We have an opt-out rate currently of 2%, or 131 property owners have opted out. This 8,336 ROEs represents over half of the total number of lots that have been damaged due to these combined fires. We think there's about 15,000 lots. Still not an exact number, but we've estimated it at 15,000 lots that are viable and need to be cleaned in LA County. That means we're a little bit more than halfway there. I need to get all the way there so we can provide this benefit to you and we can get these off to the course so they get cleaning your property. So please go to the website, make the decision to opt in or opt out. I again will say, I've looked at this as a professional engineer, as a person who's had through this experience many, many times. I'm recommending to anyone who's eligible to opt into this program. We will get your property clear of this fire debris and ash. It will prepare the property in the fastest way I know to get you to rebuild. And so please go there. The deadline for this is March 31st. And if you need hands-on help or walking through this, please call 1-844-347-3332. Colonel Swenson is here. He can answer questions also for the media about their portion of the debris removal. I'd just like to mention, and it's important to know, that we're open for business in terms of LA County unincorporated areas for rebuilding. That means we're ready to accept your building permits now. Supervisors Barger and Horvath have mentioned the one-stop that we have set up. I've done this in coordination with our Department of Regional Planning, Fire, and Health Department. There are great partners in the rebuilding permit process. The Calabasas one-stop for the Palisades fire area is in unincorporated residence is located at 26600 West Agora Road, number 110, Calabasas, California. And the one-stop center for rebuilding, as was mentioned earlier, in Altadena is at the Altadena Local Assistance Center at 540 West Woodbury Road. We can issue permits from the DRC there.
All right, everybody. Well, you're just listening to a live press conference from city officials offering some insight into what and some plans as to, and also warnings for folks out there in light of this rainstorm that's coming. And Jen and I were just having like a sidebar as this was happening. So many people, maybe if you had a home to return to or just getting back to their neighborhoods, and now once again, here we are.
Right. Now possibly, evacuated yet again. But the next 2 days are going to be all preparation and making sure that people heed those evacuation warnings, and then, the thousands of miles of K-rails and sandbags and everything. So they are prepared. But we'll be right back.